Why do the French eat snails?
Why?
Because they don't like fast food.
Hungry Squared, bringing you the best food talk anywhere.
Welcome to Hungry Squared, where the brain and belly meet. I'm Sharon, the Wasatch Cooking Guide.
And I'm Winter from theredparty.com. This week, we're talking about practicing safe lunch by using condiments. Let's talk about it.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.
How's your week been, Winter?
Oh, it's been pretty darn good. What did you eat this week, Sharon?
Ooh. So recently, I have been very busy, and my good friend, Brownie Locks, has also been very busy.
Okay.
She's getting a PhD, so she's always busy.
That is right. She has been very busy.
And she noticed in her, I think it's her third year paper that she's working on, she has a gap in her research, and this paper is due very soon. And it was a bit of a crisis, and so she offered, I offered to help her with this research, and in exchange she was going to get me dinner. And
that was nice of you.
Yeah, well, you know, help a girl out.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at papers and like getting references and
yeah,
such.
just getting some references and things like that, and just double checking a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So it was me and Brownie Locks, the bear, her husband, and Lego Bear, their son, Indiana Jones Bear, their other son, and Little Red, their daughter-in-law.
They're a great family, by the way.
I love them.
We love them.
So we're all sitting around, you know, researching and double checking and fact checking and things like that. And we've got our groove on and everything. And then it's like, oh, well, let's break for dinner. But we were so caught up in everything, and we hadn't quite seen the light at the end of the tunnel yet. And so we decided we would go and get fast food.
Oh,
no big deal.
No, yeah. Sometimes it's got to be done.
Yeah, it was fine. Because, you know, so we ate Del Taco, and it was awesome. And
so what'd you eat there? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
You're talking about what
you
ate.
It's a guilty pleasure at Del Taco.
You ate at Del Taco. And
yes.
That's what we're featuring
today. That's what
today.
I ate this week was Del Taco. But the problem is with this.
I'm making fun of you a little.
You should. The problem is, because you haven't heard the whole story, is that I don't know how to order.
What?
You know how you have your favorite things at places that you go to or whatever, and you just keep ordering them because they're good. And I'm the quote unquote guest there, right? It's just me and it's their family.
Right.
And I'm the quote unquote guest. So they're like, okay, Sharon, what are you going to have? So I was like, you know, I'll just have this thing. And they're like, oh, okay. And it wasn't like ew or anything like that. They're like, oh, okay. And then everybody gives Lego Bear their order, and he and his brother Indiana Jones Bear go get it. But at the end, I realized, and especially when they came back, because I didn't quite hear everybody's order. Like everybody's kind of talking at once, and because we're all excited about Del Taco, because tacos and whatever.
Tacos.
So they come back, and I realized that I had ordered the most expensive thing. Because I was like, oh, well, I don't really know what I want, you know? And they're like, oh, just get what you normally get when you go there. And I was like, okay, it's this. And so I ordered an expensive-ish thing.
Okay, well, it's Del Taco.
So I ordered I think it was like a $5 or $6 item. And I didn't realize.
You're a big spender.
Yeah. So I didn't realize like the day of the week. Because apparently it was Taco Tuesday, and everybody else got like a million tacos for $1. And so basically they spent all of the money on me, and they all ate these, just the regular hard shell crunchy tacos that are like seriously like a dime or something.
So they're like, you get the 10 for $1 or something like that.
So yes, exactly. So I didn't feel, so I felt terrible But then I was like, it's not that bad because Lego Bear is also eating a burrito, right? So he got something that was not entirely cheap. No big deal. And as we're eating, and I don't know if you've ever been to Del Taco, like everybody has, some of the stuff kind of sinks down when it's a burrito.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Law of gravity, right?
sure. A third of the way through, I'm eating my burrito and I think, hey, Lego Bear, this is your burrito.
Oh.
So I totally ate his burrito.
Oh.
And he's like, oh. And I was like, well, do you want to trade? And so we traded, but I basically spent all the money and ate poor Lego Bear's burrito. So
I'm pretty impressed.
Lesson learned.
Well, okay, so you were the guest. And it's
In
not
the
like
very loosest sense of the term.
I just want to say you didn't go out and like order a lobster dinner, okay?
Only because it's not available.
Oh, so that's how you are. Everybody, make a note. Don't invite Sharon to a fancy place.
Please don't invite me. I'm terrible. You can't take me anywhere.
So you had Del Taco for the week, and you
and I messed up on my order, and then I ate someone else's Del Taco.
I feel like you broke a lot of
I broke a lot of social rules.
Yeah.
And that's what I ate this week. I ate embarrassment and humble pie.
Well, that was a very productive week then, wasn't it? That's awesome.
Good. And somehow we're still friends. I don't know.
And that's what friends are for.
Yeah.
They accept you for all of your follies and
yeah.
So
yeah, eating their food and whatever, yeah.
Spending their money. All $6 of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a cheap date, I guess.
And you shouldn't be a cheap date. Awkward.
Yeah, totally awkward. What did you eat this week, Winter?
Well, I don't know if I can top that. Nope. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think I can top that. I actually ate a fabulous pizza this week because we have some friends. So Lee, my husband, he had a little food stand at the farmer's market last year, and we became really good friends with our neighbors. And they do wood-fired pizza, and they actually hauled this little brick oven basically every single week. It was quite the ordeal.
They hauled a brick oven to the farmer's market
every single week.
Holy cow!
In a U-Haul truck.
Oh,
and they're from Italy. They're like legit Italians.
Oh, this is the real deal.
They are not fake Italians. They're legit Italians.
Legit Italians with a U-Haul.
Yeah, exactly. And so they opened up a brick and mortar. Just
cool.
In our neighborhood, and we
really?
were so excited. I think they opened up. I want to say a few weeks ago, and so Lee's been going. I think once a week.
Nice,
because he's such good friends with them. And then last night,
you gotta support.
Yeah, you gotta support. And I was able to go last night. We went to dinner there, and it was delightful. And I just want to say how cool this is. They built their own brick oven in this restaurant. Like built it, and it's so cool.
Nice.
It's so fun. It's called Ti Amo Wood-Fired Pizza in Bountiful, Utah, if you really are curious about it. But it's lovely. They are lovely people too. So
nice.
Yeah. So that's what I ate. And I really love their Diablo pizza. It's a little spicier.
What's on the Diablo?
Spicy stuff. I actually don't know all the things, but I just remember like, this is really good. So
nice.
So yeah, give them a try. They're
Sweet.
lovely. Say hello to them. And it's really good pizza. Just saying.
Nice.
I love pizza. So yeah, the Del Taco story was really hard to top, but I just want to put a plug in for some really good friends. How about that?
Yeah.
And now for the main course.
Okay. Should we get to the topic at hand, Sharon?
Yes. Condiments.
Oh, yeah. So today we had a discussion about what we wanted to talk about, and it came down to condiments and all the crazy things. And I think actually had a large part to do with the fact that Sharon made me some ketchup.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
good ketchup.
yeah, and she's actually going to talk a little bit about that. And so it kind of we'll kind of hit the first two major condiments, ketchup and mustard. I love both so much. Sauces, love them.
They're good starter condiments, I guess. They're good. I mean, they're basic.
Yeah.
They both go with so much stuff. But recently I made my own ketchup. I was on a strict diet. I was on an elimination diet I've got a lot of allergies and stuff. So I saw this recipe and it is awesome. And so now I call it life-changing ketchup.
It's pretty life-changing.
Yeah, so we will put a recipe for it in the show notes, but it's not very sweet. It's very savory and lovely. But I used like a can of tomato paste, some apple cider vinegar. So basically that apple cider sweetens it up just a tad, but it's like fresh pressed apple cider. And garlic powder, salt, and some cloves actually. And the cloves really added a nice depth and a punch to it.
It was the weirdest. I just want to say that was kind of my favorite part about it. It was so unexpected.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. So lasts about a month in the fridge, but it doesn't really last that long because you can use it on tons of stuff that you normally wouldn't use, like a sugary ketchup on. You know, you put that like Heinz and stuff like that on your hamburgers and hot dogs and things like that. And it's good, but this is just, the texture is slightly different, which I like. It's still smooth. It's just, you can really get the tomato in through that. So it's just a slight chunky because of the tomato paste, but it's lovely and it cooks down really well and you still get a smooth sauce. But I just like it.
So with this one, you mentioned that there's no sugar in it.
Nope.
And I think a lot of the commercially available ketchups do have a bit of sugar in them.
Yeah. Or a lot of sugar. Like a lot of them have corn syrup or just plain sugar. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the first ingredients usually. And so this is nice because it's just sweetened with that fresh pressed apple cider. Mm-hmm. So you're just getting that sweetness, but you're not using that much per recipe. And so it's still quite savory, but it just gives it enough so it's not a huge bite of tomato.
Gotcha. Well, with the ketchup that Sharon made us, Lee actually made a meatloaf with it. And that does usually require a little bit of that tomato, that kind of a little sweeter tomato. I think I prefer a little sweeter tomato topping thing.
Yeah.
And it turned out really lovely.
Oh, nice.
Because of the cloves. I honestly think it was the cloves that was like, now this is different. It was really delicious. I loved it. And most people are like, why are you eating meatloaf? And I just want to say, I never had meatloaf as a kid, so don't judge me. I think it's wonderful.
You didn't have meatloaf as a kid?
No.
Oh.
I'm Chinese. I eat stir fries every day. I never had meatloaf. And so whenever I went over to my friend's house and they were serving meatloaf, my friends would be like, ugh, gross. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is like something from the new world. Meatloaf.
Nice.
So I love meatloaf.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it was a nice little addition, Sharon. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Strong work.
Yeah, I've actually put it on my eggs, and I'm not really a ketchup on eggs kind of person, but this ketchup is so darn good. And I made oven fries with this ketchup. The fries were good, but they weren't fantastic because I am trying to perfect this other recipe for my oven fries. So they were tasty, very potato-y, very crispy. They're good. But then I just really wanted to eat the ketchup. I might have just eaten the ketchup towards the end.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
With like a spoon?
Maybe.
No judgment.
Yes,
This is
with
a
the spoon.
This is a judgment-free zone. If it's good ketchup, it's good ketchup. And I can see
it's
doing
dang
that,
good
actually.
ketchup. Yeah, it was good. I mean, at towards the end, the fries were getting in the way of my ketchup consumption.
See, that's no good.
So they eventually failed to be the perfect vehicle for the ketchup, and then I just needed the spoon. So,
Well, at least you figured that out. At least you figured that out.
exactly.
Oh, man.
So, but ketchup, I don't know if you know this, but hasn't always been tomato based.
What?
Yeah. So, as I've done some research on ketchup, it originated in China.
Yay, the Chinese.
The Chinese win again.
Yes, we do.
So around the 17th century, the Chinese mixed kind of a combination of pickled fish and some other spices and called it, I can't even pronounce this,
Give it a try. I want to hear it.
ketchup.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not?
I don't know if that's correct. And then it kind of morphed and grew to extend to like Malaysia and Singapore areas. And so English explorers found out about this ketchup.
Oh.
So usually there was some kind of an acid, and it was usually fish sauce, anchovy, that kind of thing, with like pickled fish. Basically, it was kind of like the acid base.
Right.
And
Because who doesn't like pickled fish?
everyone.
That's going to be another topic for another day.
Excellent. So the English kind of brought it back to the colonies and also to United Kingdom. But there was different foods that served as the base for the ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
Tomatoes weren't very popular as the base for the ketchup, but mushrooms were.
Really?
Yes. So
Wait,
I find-
like pickled mushrooms?
just mushrooms
Oh,
and pickled fish.
okay.
So when you stir that together, you get a really weird gray sludgy concoction.
I was about to ask. I was like, was it just a really unappetizing gray color?
Oh yeah, it looks like sludge. But it is purported that it was Jane Austen's favorite, was a table sauce ketchup that was a mushroom base.
Oh,
Yeah.
who knew?
Mm-hmm. So, I don't food for thought. Fun trivia fact
About Jane Austen.
and her mushroom ketchup love. So it does not look appetizing in the least to me. There's several pictures that you can look up online on mushroom ketchups. And
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, are
They look
these?
gross.
Can you purchase these currently?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't like these are all some homemade recipes that
Okay.
I'm seeing, and some people are just replicating them.
Oh, so they're like food historians.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But
They're
like they don't know how to, and I am no expert. I am not a food photography expert, but I'm going to say you shouldn't put it in a cottage cheese container. Maybe. Don't do that. It makes it look even
Less
appetizing.
Okay.
So just throwing that out there.
Noted.
So eventually, the tomato base became popular. I'd say in the 1800s, I think is what it's looking like. And I found a very interesting recipe for a tomato-based ketchup. And let's see, what year was this made in? Around 1824.
Okay.
Anyway, it was like, gather a gallon of fine red and full ripe tomatoes and mash them with a pound of salt. That's your first step.
A pound of salt.
1 pound of salt.
A pound of salt.
That is so much salt.
That is so much salt.
Yeah.
You know what that actually reminds me of? Can I interject really
Yeah.
fast about some random thing? So I spent some time in Russia, as some of you may know. And the Russians, they always think they're like, oh, this is going to be super spicy when it comes to their ketchup.
Oh, they think the ketchup will be
Well,
spicy.
they have like ketchup. They have all sorts of different flavors of ketchup and such.
Oh,
And they're
okay.
like, oh, this is going to be so spicy. You be careful. It's going to be so spicy. And it ends up being, you taste it and you're like, this is not spicy at all. In fact, it's just really salty.
Ooh.
Really. That's like, they consider salty food spicy. They don't really know what spicy food is, I think.
So is that like so they're using the Russian word for spicy and they really mean salty?
No,
or
I
they
think
really think that is spicy.
Spicy.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a little odd.
interesting.
So just random tidbit about my experience while living in Russia.
Do they actually like spicy things?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think those are readily available. So I don't think very many people, I think you develop a tolerance or,
sure.
yeah, your tongue just needs practice with that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So I just don't think, I never had anything spicy at all, actually, in Russia, now that I think about it. So definitely weird stuff, but not spicy.
Interesting.
Okay.
Nice.
Sorry. Continue on with your recipe because the 1 pound of
Well-
salt action was a little like, oh, that reminds me of somebody I know or a country I know.
Yeah, I mean, this also calls for a 1/4 pound of anchovies.
Oh, so they still do have that
Yeah.
kind of fish base almost.
Yeah, the fish base started to disappear. Gosh, it seems like around the turn of the century, maybe a little before then, because that's when F&J Heinz launched their tomato ketchup in 1876.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So let's.
so it kind of had dropped off around that time. But it's interesting because they're another common base for ketchup. So we had the tomatoes, which was less common and came to be very much more common.
Because of the Heinz company?
Right, because of the Heinz company. But then walnuts were also, so mushrooms and walnuts were kind of interchangeable on that base. So you would have like your pickled fish or some type of a fish sauce or anchovies and walnuts.
Why walnuts? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Maybe
they ground them.
Just right into like a paste or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Made
Okay.
it into a paste, and then that was like your table sauce.
That's so weird.
So, yeah, interesting. But yeah, that's, yeah, kind of gross.
I know. I was like,
It's very different from the ketchup that we know and love today. And
Yes.
that's one of every kid's like first condiment that they
Oh.
use is ketchup,
I'm probably,
you know?
well, it's generally, I would say mild.
Yeah, it's pretty mild.
Mustard, on the other hand, is a little spicier. So I think little kids don't generally.
Yeah, they're not going to dip their chicken nuggets in that.
Mm-hmm.
But ketchup, they're all about it.
Yeah, it's totally true. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I want to make a ketchup with anchovies in it now. Just to see how that
Just
would work.
to see how it would work. Yeah. I am tempted to do the ketchup and with the mushrooms, but because I mean, I love mushrooms. And so mushrooms and fish, is it more like a sushi condiment, maybe like an alternative to wasabi?
I guess it just
I
seems
don't
a
know.
little too funky to me, that combination. So, but I probably have eaten something like that before in my life, so maybe I shouldn't be so scared of it.
Yeah.
But
I
it
don't know.
sounds just not appetizing to me.
Yeah. No, it looks unappetizing, especially when you photograph it in a cottage cheese container.
What are you talking about?
But
It looks so awesome.
food photography is probably another topic for another day.
Whatever.
What did you find out about mustard?
So I focused, well, let me tell you, I did not like mustard for a long time. We didn't have mustard like in our house, I would say. We maybe
So you didn't have the
used-
hot mustard?
Well, we did have that hot mustard in like every so often, but it was,
Did you have duck sauce in your house?
no. Duck sauce? Who has duck sauce in their house?
Americans who order a lot of Chinese food, you get the duck sauce and the hot mustard.
So apparently I was not one of those people growing up. So like even when I think maybe it was because my young palate at the time could not handle mustard. I think it's a little spicy. It's strong.
Yeah.
And
the vinegar has a lot of bite to it.
yes.
I was not a fan for a very long time either.
I feel like it was when I was in college that I'm like, oh, actually I had a roommate and she is lovely and is very far away from me now. She's like, she and her husband are across the country and it makes me sad. So, but she had a mustard thing. Like she had a thing for mustard.
Oh, all right. Good
And
for her.
she had a mustard collection. It was,
Oh, nice.
yeah. And she had like all these little tiny pots that she would kind of pick up whenever she went on a trip from that area. And she let me try some on different cheeses and crackers because we would have a cheese party every year.
Oh, right.
And so she allowed me to try some of those and they were lovely. And I was like, where have you been all my life, mustard?
Nice.
So
My grandma got me started on mustard.
really?
Yeah, she was like, well, you need to get into... She loved making sandwiches for everyone, and she just thought I was so weird because I wouldn't eat mustard. And I was like, you can put ketchup on it. And she's like, no, I'm not putting ketchup on your sandwich.
You need to get into mustard.
Yeah, and so she gave me my start in mustard. She kind of made it a little easier for me and gave me some Grey Poupon, which is quite mild.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah, it's a good starter mustard.
It is a great starter mustard. And actually, that's what I'm going to talk about today is on Dijon mustard specifically because I thought the history is so very interesting. And because Dijon mustard, which is what Grey Poupon is, it doesn't necessarily mean it's from the Dijon region of France. Well, Dijon is in the Burgundy region of France. But back in the day, that's how it got its name because it started there. So you can make it in other places. You don't have to make it in France to have it to be called Dijon. So I guess that would be a tiny D versus a capital D if we're talking about the ones that are made in other places. So anyway, so usually mustard has a vinegar base.
Mm-hmm.
Dijon mustard has something called a verjuice base. That's the acid part of the mustard. It's verjuice is juice from unripened grapes. So back in the day when they're harvesting grapes for wine and that type of thing, but there were probably some unripened grapes that they collected and they didn't want to waste. And so they used that specifically to make this mustard.
That's
so they ground
cool.
it together with the mustard seeds and so you definitely have a little bit, I would say, like you said, a mustard that had a little less bite. It was a little smoother, still had a good flavor to it, but definitely I think Dijon mustard is a little bit smoother. So I really thought that was really interesting that it was just their way of being frugal.
Nice.
The other thing that I thought was really cool.
Save the grapes.
Save the grapes. So when you were growing up, did you ever watch that Grey Poupon commercial where the fancy man in his Rolls Royce pulls up to another fancy car and says, by any chance, and he's, about to cut into his roast beef.
Me.
Yes. Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? And then the chauffeur opens up the glove compartment, I think, and he's like, of course. And he pulls out this lovely bottle with an enameled label that says Grey Poupon on it.
Yeah.
There was this kind of air of, I don't know,
Elegance.
importance,
Yeah.
fanciness.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of love marketing stuff because I thought this was really an interesting story. So French's mustard was the number one seller of mustard for years and years and years. They had the market. The second seller was Golden's. And so, but still, both of them were still this yellow mustard, right? Kind of that really bright yellow mustard. So the marketing company that was assigned to take on the Grey Poupon campaign, they did a taste test, blind taste test, right? And people loved loved Grey Poupon. Like hands down, loved Grey Poupon.
Well, it's a different flavor.
Totally different
than your
flavor.
regular yellow mustard.
Yes. It's very different. I personally love it. I love it more than most every mustard. So they were like, we have something on our hands. We know people will love this. How are we going to get it into their hands? Because people are loyal to their brands.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. You see your brand packaging, you see, and even like when it's a generic brand, they try to imitate the common, more well-known brands packaging.
Right.
Like they'll do same colors or
same
similar
typographies. Yep.
Yeah, same typography. They'll do like a similar shaped bottle.
Yep.
Things like that. Yeah.
So this company, the Hublin company, they decided to try not to compete with French's and Golden's and do something a little bit different. So they put it into this glass bottle that was much bigger than the usual yellow mustard bottles. And they put an enameled label on it. And if you remember, I think there was a little bit of red and blue on there. So it kind of had this like French feel to it. Mm-hmm. And, even like it feels like it came from Europe.
Right. Even like it's imported.
Yeah. Except for it's currently made in Hartford, Connecticut. And they're Canadian mustard seeds. So
what?
Yeah.
There is nothing European about it.
Nope. So, but they ended up doing these beautiful these beautiful glass bottles. And they ran these really tasteful ads in higher scale magazines. They ended up putting their Grey Poupon in foil packages. I don't know if you've noticed that before, but they put them in like these foil packages with nice labeling and put it in the airlines because
right.
people that can fly are a little well off. Mm-hmm. So they started associating that. And then of course this famous commercial that of this gentleman driving up and asking his friend in the car if he had any Grey Poupon, and sure enough he did, and they handed it over in a gloved hand. The chauffeur's gloved hand, like, here you go.
Well, and they remade that commercial several times.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing.
Yeah. It was really quite the sensation. And I'll tell you this right now, my siblings and I, we did this all the time. We would drive up next to each other, like when we were in high school, and we would be driving to whatever school or something like that. And if we saw a friend, we would have them roll down their window. We're like, come on, roll down your window. And then we'd ask them if they had any Grey Poupon because we thought we were so funny. Apparently we're not so much, but it was a fun commercial. We really liked it. And it really did feel kind of uppity, Yeah.
I mean, you sell them luxury. People buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's totally true. And the cool thing, I thought this was really awesome. So the cities that ran the ads for this Grey Poupon commercial jumped up in sales by 40 to 50%.
Oh my gosh.
That is a huge
Just
amount.
because of the commercials.
Just because of the commercials. Wow. And
we are such gullible suckers.
But
it's super good. We are such gullible suckers.
It's excellent mustard. But you know what? Sometimes we need to be coaxed from our brands that we've, grown up with.
Sure.
And so I thought that was quite remarkable that they are trying to sell the finer pleasures in life, right? That's kind of their tagline in those commercials. And so I was pretty darn impressed that this Dijon mustard, who was fighting an uphill battle against French's and Golden's, and they did a pretty darn good job because they were selling those bottles for quite a bit more than the usual.
Yes, it is more expensive.
Yeah, so it was quite an interesting backstory on how Dijon kind of became more introduced. And then, of course, now I think that opened it up for all these other mustards.
Yeah, your deli mustard, your spicy brown mustard.
Yep.
With the seeds in it.
Yeah. And so,
oh my gosh, I love the mustard seeds.
I do love the mustard seeds. There's a little bit of crunch and texture to it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Great.
So I want to say thanks to Grey Poupon because I feel like we have a whole new world of mustards because of that commercial.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're more open to things because of that. So mustard is good.
Yeah. So get out of your condiment rut. Buy a different fancy mustard.
Yeah. Be like
Because you wouldn't have been able to do that 30 years ago.
we might still be just eating yellow mustard, people.
Forever.
Not to say that that's bad. It's
No.
just that it's a different type of a mustard.
It's good. Like, I mean, when I go to the baseball games and
Yeah.
stuff, I love to get a hot dog. Or when I go to soccer games. And yeah, that's what I'm putting on it. I'm putting mustard on it. Maybe some pickles. You know,
But you know, when you
good
want to
stuff.
when you want
The
to make
yellow
a
mustard.
when you want to make a good sandwich, you can go crazy.
You need to up your game.
Up your game, yo.
Yeah, you need to up your game.
Up your condiment game.
Yes.
So, the moral of the story, everybody, is practice safe lunch. Use condiments.
Whoop, whoop. Our podcast is brought to you by our awesome and food-loving sponsors. Our first sponsor is Blendtec at blendtec.com. But before we get into Blendtec, let me tell you that we are having a swag bag giveaway. Well, it's actually a swag box.
Yeah, I was about to correct you there. We got a lot of stuff that's going into that swag box.
Yeah, so we wanted to fit it into a bag so we could call it a swag bag, but it's not really working out because there's so much cool stuff. So it's all going to fit in a box just for you. And Blendtec is one of our sponsors for the swag box. So if you leave us an iTunes rating and a review, you'll be entered to win one of 10 swag boxes full of these goodies that we're going to be talking about. So the first sponsor is Blendtec, and they have generously donated their spectaculas, measuring cups, and power banks.
So, what are spectaculas?
I'm glad you asked. Their spectaculas are just what they say. They're pretty spectacular. And they are ergonomically designed, kind of like spatulas, rubber scrapers, if you will. But they're ergonomically designed, and they are designed to fit exactly in their jars to scrape up all of the goodness so you don't lose out on anything that you make in the Blendtec.
You know what? Because I'm all about like saving stuff, especially when they have kind of a new little jar, and it is one to make nut butters. And you don't want to miss any of that good stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's so good. And you can scrape up all of the remnants of anything that you make. Your doughs, your smoothies, your nut butters, everything. It's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
And it has a built-in spoon rest.
Oh.
So it's just...
Gotta love that good design.
Yeah, the design is awesome of those spectaculars. And the measuring cups are great. They're an oval shape. The measuring marks are engraved in them, so it's not going to wear off or anything like that. And then the power banks are cool because it can charge your cell phone on the go.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun.
Yeah. You guys, we went to the Blendtec facilities, and they were so awesome. They were so gracious to us. They showed us around the factory. They gave us a tour. We Facebook Lived it if you want to follow up on that. But we just enjoyed our time there, and they were so, so nice and showed us their philosophy, and we love their philosophy. They have an 8-year warranty on every single one of their blenders, and it's pretty awesome that like 8 years. Think about your child that was born and it will be 8 years old by the time your Blendtec warranty is up. That's a long time.
I mean, every part is warranted, so it's amazing.
And
you just have to
Sharon,
let them know, and they will gladly replace anything.
Exactly. So Sharon, which one do you have?
I have the Blendtec 725, the designer 725.
Ah, okay. Well, and what have you made it with it?
I've made quite a few things. I've made ice cream. I have made green smoothies. I have made nut butter, and I have made pizza dough.
Oh, you did make the pizza dough.
I did.
How did it go?
Lovely.
Did
it was
you?
So easy.
Okay, I just want to say that before I had gone to the Blendtec facility with Sharon, I did not know you could make pizza dough in a blender.
It's awesome. It renders your KitchenAid obsolete almost. I'm going to say almost because, everybody's really attached to their KitchenAid. But man, this was so fast and so easy to make the dough in it.
Very nice. Very nice. So, and we have a Blendtec also, and Lee uses it for commercial purposes. And what he does with it is quite amazing. He cuts back the time that he spends prepping out his food for his business by quite a bit of time. I get to see him more. Yay!
Probably by half.
Yeah.
And it's so much quieter.
It is. So we love the Blendtec blenders, and we love their philosophy, and that we absolutely love this partnership that we have with them.
Yeah. So for all of our listeners, Blendtec is offering 10% off any blender through August 31st, 2016. And so all you have to do is go to blendtec.com and enter our discount code, which is in uppercase, and it's HUNGRY10
Hungry 10.
for 10% off.
That is amazing, you guys.
Woohoo! Thanks, Blendtec.
Our next sponsor is Nordic Ware. And Nordic Ware has graciously donated some of their beautiful cookie stamps for the swag box giveaway. We're pretty excited about them. Sharon, we both have cookie stamps.
Yeah, and they're so fun.
They are so fun, and
They're
they're
this
so
cast aluminum with this beautiful, like, polished wood handle. They're pretty.
They're pretty.
They're pretty in your kitchen, and they're pretty on your cookie.
Yep. I made some peanut butter cookies and used them to kind of stamp them. And it's kind of this fun geometric pattern, and it just made my cookie look kind of fancy.
Oh, it's totally cool. It's awesome if you're making the specialty cookies, like sugar cookies or those spritz cookies kind of thing, like you'd have at a tea party or something, and you can stamp these cookies. But I'm not that fancy, and I stamped my chocolate chip cookies with them.
And did it work?
It did, and they're all in this cool, like, flower, like, had this flower design on them.
Nice.
So they looked awesome.
So you guys, I've been using Nordic Ware products for so long. We have pans, we have specific waffle irons that we use, and we absolutely love them in our household. They are sturdy. They are made in the USA, and they are just excellent products that we absolutely love. And we are excited that those listeners that will win the swag boxes to get us a cookie stamp in their swag box, but every other listener can benefit from a discount they have given us for our listeners only.
And that discount is Nordicware 30. That's all uppercase, NORDICWARE 30, Nordicware 30. And you will get 30% off if you spend $50 or more through August 31st, 2016.
Oh my gosh, 30% off.
Yeah.
Think of all the cooking ware and
so even if you're
bakeware.
spending $50, you're getting that for cheap.
I know, that is amazing. They have some really pretty stuff too, you guys. Their bunt pans are so pretty.
Well, and the design of their cookware and bakeware is really lovely.
It is.
They've got tons of things. Go onto their website, nordicware.com. It's a blast.
We're so
There's
excited.
so many things I love.
You guys will just have fun. I'm actually eyeing their new flare cookware, and that's some just really fun design. They have these kind of columns on the side of the pan, so it helps distribute the heat up the pan a little bit quicker, so you can get something boiling way faster.
Yeah, quick and even.
Kind of eyeing that, so I'm just saying. So we are so excited to partner with Nordic Ware. We thank you so much.
Let's have a food fight.
Food fight, food fight, food fight, food fight.
This is a segment where you can email us with your relationship questions relating to food. You can email us at hungrysquared@gmail.com.
Disclaimer, we are in no way professional relationship experts, but you should totally listen to us anyway. If you need professional help, though, please seek it out.
Food fight, food fight. The food fight segment of the show. Here we go.
All right. This week's question. It's a good one. It says, I recently started dating someone who is vegan. I want to cook for her, but don't know where to begin. What advice do you have for me? Sincerely, Carnivorous Caveman. P.S. Am I cheating on her if I eat a burger?
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Huh. Okay.
Thoughts?
Congratulations on dating somebody new. That's great.
Woo woo.
Well, we actually have some friends that she is vegan and her husband is not vegan.
Oh, and they're married.
Huh. And they seem to do pretty well.
Does he eat vegan at home then?
I think generally he does. However, I believe if she's made something, then he may go throw a chicken breast on and just have some sort of meat.
So he throws a slab of meat on top
of whatever she's made. But she makes amazing stuff. So I'll be the first to admit that I'm like, some of the stuff that she makes, I'm like, this is vegan? Who knew?
It's an Oreo.
Yes.
Did you know Oreos are technically vegan?
Yeah. And I think that's so weird to me.
So you can still eat your junk food and still be a vegan.
Yeah.
So it's not all terrible.
Maybe you should bring some Oreos over. That's our first suggestion. But you know what? Carnivorous. Wow, that's really hard for me to say.
Carnivorous caveman.
Thanks, Sharon. I appreciate that. That guy. Have you started looking up vegan recipes? You should try that, because I feel like ever since I've become friends with this friend of mine, I feel like it's opened up a whole new world.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, it's really not that difficult to cook vegan.
Oh.
And there are some lovely recipes, and there are people out there in the blogging world and online that are making lovely vegan recipes.
Yeah.
Delicious things that you were like, come again? What?
Yeah, there's a whole world of food blogs out there, and you need to discover some of them.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
And I would quickly do a search on, all recipes or something like that, a vegan, whatever it happens to be, and give it a whirl, see how many people have liked it, and go with something that has a high ranking. Read some of the comments and see what they've said about how they've adapted things so that it works for them, because people have different tastes and such. So you can see what others have started with and then go from there.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool whole new world, and it's really quite lovely, because you're eating so much better for yourself.
It is. Yeah.
Unless you're
plant-based diets are great.
Yeah. Unless you're only eating Oreos, and that's not so great. But
no, you should stop doing that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. So,
and maybe don't give her Oreos unless you know that she really loves them.
yeah, that's true.
I have dabbled with vegetarianism for several years. And I've, when I've gone out with people, they haven't always been vegetarians or vegans or whatever. And so it's been kind of difficult to navigate that, but not impossible. As long as I say it's kind of difficult because it annoys some people. Because they view it as being picky. And so as long as you respect somebody else's lifestyle, their eating habits, whatever, I think you can get along amazingly. Like, it's never bothered me if somebody wants to eat a burger or whatever. Like, that's totally fine.
I have a quick question for CC, because I can't say his name. I wonder, I wonder how his girlfriend or the person he's dating, is she, because some people can be kind of a little preachy and
sure, yeah,
like about whatever dietary restrictions that they have. But it sounds like she may not be, because he's like really trying to impress her, and doesn't sound like I'm only going to eat this.
Yeah.
You should tell us how she's like, because I think that would be interesting to know.
But I think you can learn a lot from somebody that's so immersed, like your friend who's a vegan. You've learned that it's really healthy and easy to cook plant-based food, like a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
Just up your veggies, up your fruits, that kind of thing.
And I feel like, well, my friend, she is definitely not preachy about how she eats. And she usually is very considerate of other people. She's like, don't go out of your way. Like, right. I'll just eat the things that are not, I'm able to eat, and then I'll kind of prepare stuff for myself. And she's very gracious about it. She's super gracious about it.
Sure.
So. And that makes
a lifestyle. You have to plan for that. Like, you have to know that not everybody is going to eat your particular way, whether you have a food allergy or, you have made a lifestyle decision on your eating. Like, maybe it's out of like a consciousness, like animals, that kind of thing, whatever. Yeah, I think if you make those conscious lifestyle choices that, you just plan for that kind of stuff and it's fine.
Yeah. So I think this decision to date this woman has been great. It's going to be good for your health.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to open your, broaden your horizons. That's really great.
Yeah, it really, really is.
That's what people can do for each other.
Yeah. It's a lovely thing, this relationship thing. I do think that you're not cheating on her if you do get a burger, though.
Yeah. Go get a burger and love it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Eat it.
However, I will say that if you haven't had a lot of red meat in a while,
you need to ease yourself into that business.
Yep.
You need to ease yourself in.
Just don't go, don't go overboard. You're going to regret it, okay?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think your girlfriend is going to be opposed to it either, because she probably is really, really chill. I bet she's like, go ahead if that's what you'd like to do. She's made a decision for herself, so I think you're not cheating on her.
Yeah.
We're excited for you.
Woohoo. I hope it works out.
Yeah. Recipe it up. Recipe the vegan out of it, man.
Yeah. Get online, look at some food blogs, Google vegan food blogs, look at all recipes, look at some of your trusted recipe sites too, because you'll even find that a lot of that stuff is easily adaptable.
Exactly.
You could step out like eggplant for some meat in something, or mushrooms, something like that. Like something like potatoes, something like of substance. The heartier vegetables, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Everything's of substance, but
and you can also talk to your girlfriend. You can be sneaky and stuff like that, but ask her about some of the substitutes she uses to replace the things that she is replacing in her foods.
Yeah. What are some of her favorite things to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Ask her about that and see if you can replicate them.
Yeah. And that will be pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
Girls dig a dude that can cook.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
And what's super easy go-to? If you're not very competent in the kitchen, easy go-to for vegan stuff is pasta.
Oh, yeah. It's generally, yeah.
You can do an easy pasta with an easy pasta sauce.
Yeah.
Tomato base. You've got it.
Simple. Delicious. Quick, probably.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes of noodles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You got this. We have confidence.
Yeah. Go you.
Woohoo. Thanks for joining us today for our show. You can find us on hungrysquared.com, on iTunes, and on Stitcher. Please leave us a rating, because that's going to help other people find our podcast.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys giving us a rating and some comments, because we want to make this podcast way better. So please let us know how we're doing. And also, we'd love to also hear your relationship food questions at hungrysquared@gmail.com. So please let us know, and we will see you guys next week.
Woohoo! Thanks for joining us. Love you. Bye. See ya.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.